Greetings, everyone. I'm Megan Sullivan, and I'm alongside the very talented Jared Petty.
Oh, very talented. Nice of you to say. Thank you.
Absolutely, and we're here to talk about Xenoblade Chronicles for Nintendo's 125th anniversary Let's Play video series right here on IGN.
Yep, and Xenoblade Chronicles is a unique game in a number of ways. On a console that didn't have a lot of role-playing games, Xenoblade Chronicles stood out not just as important within the library of the Wii, but really as a solid RPG when put against its contemporaries across all platforms.
Indeed. In fact, many people say that this JRPG sort of dragged the entire genre of JRPGs into the 21st century by being a little more action-based, a little more open world, and a little deeper in terms of story and characters. Would you agree with that?
I do. I feel like they gave there was a lot of tender loving care in this game that played itself out in a number of ways. Now, this game actually barely came to the United States. We were very fortunate to get it at all.
Yes, that's right. In fact, right here on IGN, an operation called Operation Rainfall started, and it was a petition to get 3 games to come to the United States that otherwise weren't coming, and that was Xenoblade Chronicles, The Last Story, and Pandora's Tower. And because of Operation Rainfall, or at least partially because of Operation Rainfall, Nintendo decided to finally release these games in the United States. So this was actually released back in 2012, I believe.
Yes. Now, I was living in Japan a couple of years before that when this game was first released there. And even in Japan, where it was readily accessible, it caused quite a stir. Japanese gamers also weren't particularly used to getting RPGs for their Wii, and there was a lot of excitement about this and The Last Story both, for different reasons. They're very different games. Of the two, I actually prefer this game more.
I do too. It just had so many wonderful, unique things. So right now we're looking at Battle, and that was one of the sort of unique features, is you had different talents and different skills that you can employ. It's much more action-based. It's fast-paced. Plus, you have a really cool blade called the Monado that lets you glimpse into the future in battle, so you can see when an enemy is going to do a major attack and then try to avoid it.
Right, evading out of the way. Now, right now we're just doing some tutorial stuff at the very beginning of the game, but that evasion feature, again, another contemporary game of this one, when you look at Final Fantasy Crisis Core and how it handled evasion, you see some similarities there. This one really did borrow from the best, came up with a lot of good ideas on its own. It was also a beautiful game, and there's this temptation there to say for the Wii. We ought to address that. The Wii, as we all know here, was not a high-definition console.
Yeah, it's not as advanced as a 360 or PlayStation 3.
Right, but this game, I really like to avoid the term for the Wii when we talk about its beauty, because once you get away from these tutorials into the outdoor areas, there are some truly stunning vistas.
Gorgeous.
These rolling hills, waving grass, cliffs off in the distance. And I remember one of the best impressions I ever got from playing Xenoblade Chronicles was when I was very first got into the beginning of the game and it started to open up, and I just walked over the crest of the first hill and looked down and saw this little town like a jewel in the valley there below me, kind of spread out in the distance in blue skies, and I got, wow, this is just a vast, incredible place, and I feel like I can go anywhere and do almost anything.
Absolutely. It's a gorgeous game. The environments are very dynamic. Weather patterns, night and day cycles really affect the gameplay when you're running around the Bionis. Plus, you can fast travel anywhere in the game, and I thought that was such a great feature because many JRPGs don't have that. You sometimes have to backtrack or get to a specific save point, but not in Xenoblade. Once you've been there, you can go back there in an instant.
And
great feature.
Exactly. What's a moment that really stands out for you in Xenoblade, Megan?
You know, there are so many, because there are many plot twists along the way where you think one thing is going to happen, another thing happens. But I like the camaraderie between the characters. I felt the characters were very charming and well written. I think Ryan, is my favorite character because it's always Ryan time. And I also just like the open world feel of the game. I loved exploring in the game and coming across treasures and, side quests that
they gave you a lot to find.
They gave you a ton of side quests. There's always something to do. So, you could go on with the main story, or you could take a little bit of a detour and explore the Bionis in any order you wanted. Yeah,
and I really appreciated that. I enjoyed a lot of things about this game. One thing I did not enjoy was the voice acting, and I very much appreciated it. I know you really liked it, but
I love the English voice acting.
And
I love me a British voice. like actor because they have that great accent.
Okay, see, it drove me crazy through most of the game, and so I actually appreciated the fact that I could switch this over to Japanese and do it on the subtitles and hear the original Japanese dialogue in most of the game, and I liked that.
That's true.
I like
Giving
that
option to players is a great thing. I know it's a little more expensive. It takes a little more effort on the part of, you know, the developer
studio,
and everyone who brings it out. But you know what? It's totally worth it because it makes everybody happy.
Now, like most RPGs, guys, you're going to have to give this a lot of time before you see why it's really worthwhile. But I do encourage you to check this out if you haven't. I understand it's kind of rare and actually fairly expensive at this point. But if you can dig up a copy, you know, come by the office and borrow mine or something sometime. Come by and take a look at it. This is quite a video game and something I think is well worth the 40 to 100 hours that you can easily dump into it.
And if it's too hard to find, I am sure at some point Nintendo will wise up and put it out on the Virtual Console for the Wii U.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Especially because Xenoblade Chronicles X is coming out next year, and that should be very exciting.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see what comes with that. I think that's because there were some shortcomings in this game. I think they're going to work around some of those, and just it's because they were successful with it and continue to progress through the series. And it's good to see that this did as well as it did in that limited release. So, yes. Megan, anything else to do on this one?
Just wanted to say to the audience that for all your Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles X needs, keep it locked here to IGN. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.